Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and this is going to be another Fatal Friday video. Fatal Friday being a series where I look back on recordings I did for Mortal Kombat 1, where I went into the Kombat League casually trying to get the unique finishers for the various characters, like their brutalities and their fatalities. For the video this week, I am highlighting a brutality for the character Ermac, and that is going to be his brutality, Good Old Times. That is the brutality version of one of Ermac's special attacks. I cannot remember the name of it offhand, but it is the one where he telekinetically will grab the opponent and then lift them into the air, and then suddenly a gigantic monstrous spirit will grab the opponent by the back of the head, leaving them defenseless and allowing Ermac to strike them again. This special attack is one that I use quite a bit to end my combos or to even extend the combos using janetcage. So there are definitely plenty of opportunities for me to get the brutality, and some pretty long combos could be ended with the brutality. The combo I used to get the brutality today is definitely not one of the longest ones I could have done, but still, it's not too bad. Oh, and if I was unclear about what special attack I was talking about, this is it right here. Oh, and on top of it being a really easy way to extend combos and end combos, this is also Ermac's armored wake-up attack. So go ahead and add that to the list of ways you could potentially get this brutality. There are just a lot of options. And after punishing Li Mei's flying knee attack, we end up taking the very first round of this first match. Stepping away from the brutality itself, my opponent in the Kombat League this time around was somebody using Li Mei, and they were pairing up Li Mei with the kameo Scorpion, which is a pretty hard-hitting combination. Even though that combination can hit pretty hard, we really haven't seen them do anything up to this point in this match. Eventually that does change. In fact, in this very round, Li Mei and Scorpion eventually end up escaping the corner and then do an over 300 damage combo to me. But overall in this first match, things were mostly going in my favor. And even though they just pulled off an over 300 damage combo against me, well, they were still throwing out a bunch of punishable stuff, so whenever I blocked that, I was able to retaliate and do some really good damage of my own, eventually weakening them quite a bit and then getting a really good life lead for myself. And that definitely allowed me to be patient and wait for something punishable to happen so that I could pull off that brutality. Speaking of which,
Brutality. Ermac wins.
and there it was, we pulled off the good old times brutality for Ermac. And like I was describing earlier, that's a brutality version of that special move where the demonic monster spirit comes out and grabs the opponent. Only the brutality version, that spirit is nowhere to be found. Instead of him showing up and helping out Ermac, well, Ermac does everything by himself. He telekinetically grabs the opponent, and without his tag team partner, he just continues to slam the opponent into the ground over and over and over again until they explode into a big pile of viscera and bones. And yeah, we got that after winning 2 consecutive rounds to win the very first match. We have not lost at all up to this point, so let's see if we can get a clean sweep. Let's see if we can win everything and take the entire set. And as I say that, I realize that that might be a little bit easier said than done, because I've been knocked below 30% health, and well, with a throw, Li Mei is definitely going to be within killing range of a fatal blow combo. I just need to land it, and well, that does not end up happening in the end, so that clean sweep is not going to happen today. Not to worry though, we can still win pretty decisively after all. That is the only round that I have lost up to this point, so if I win the next 2 consecutively, I end up winning the entire set. And that 1 round loss would be really the only kind of a loss I would have experienced the entire time fighting this Li Mei person. So even though it kind of sucks to lose that round, it is not the end of the world. I was developing a little bit of a bad habit though in this round, because on multiple occasions I had the opportunity to stun my opponent. There is a special move by Ermac that summons a different spirit to dangle the opponent by their legs, and they're just stuck there for a while, leaving them completely open and defenseless for whatever combo you want to do next. The thing is, whenever I had those opportunities, I would summon the spirit, but I would not do the meter burn version of that spirit that actually stuns the opponent. So I was taking away a bunch of damage from my combos and just leaving Li Mei in this fight, which, as we see towards the very end of this round, was a very bad decision. Both of us were only a hit or 2 away from death. I do end up winning in the end, but if I just landed the combos the way I intended to, that win would have been a lot easier. So yeah, the story of the previous round was that I was dropping combos and making things much more difficult on myself, and well, this round it kind of gets flipped around. Instead of me, it actually ends up being the person using Li Mei that drops a bunch of their combos and makes things much more difficult on themselves. Which is really saying something because in spite of all the dropped combos, Li Mei actually ends up getting to a really good life lead against me. In fact, if they had not dropped those combos, they probably would have won with a gigantic amount of health and me not really doing anything. But as it stands, they don't end up landing really any big combos that I'm aware of in this round. And once they were low enough on health, I was kind of fishing for them to jump into the air, and when they did, I was able to summon the spirit to grab them and stun them, leaving them open for a combo, and I just go ahead and go for the fatal blow to take the win.
Ermac wins.
So I definitely got kind of lucky there with my opponent dropping combos enough to leave me in the fight, and well, after chipping away at them enough, I was able to pull off that fatal blow and take the win. Although whenever they were stunned and in the air just open to whatever combo I could come up with, rather than going for the fatal blow, I suppose I could have gone for a different combo to try and get the brutality one more time, but I wasn't 100% sure if it would do enough damage and still result in the brutality. So rather than risk it and maybe not get the brutality and end up losing, I just went ahead and took the guaranteed win, which is fine. I got the brutality once, that is good enough for me. Although once we do reach the very end of this outro, I'll be sure to show the brutality one more time, that way we can enjoy it one final time before we part ways on this Fatal Friday. In fact, I'll go ahead and show a different instance whenever I pulled off this brutality from a different fight that didn't quite make the cut to be the main fight for this video. That way we get a little bit of variety as we close things out here. But yeah, we ended up getting the good old times brutality for Ermac. I only have a few more Ermac brutalities to go, or at least I only have a few more of his day 1 finishers to go. I did record this quite a while ago before the Chaos Reigns DLC was added, which whenever that came out I believe he got additional brutalities and an animality. But I have not recorded myself getting those as of the time I'm doing this video, so we are just accounting for his day 1 stuff. In any case, I'll have those videos coming out in the coming months, so be sure to check those out if they are of interest to you. In fact, feel free to check out the other things I have on the Thor's Entertainment channel. I do have other finisher videos just like this for Mortal Kombat 1. Those can be found under the Fatal Friday playlists. And I have other video game related videos and playthroughs as well. Like I have playthroughs of the remakes of Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. And I also have playthroughs of other games like Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver and Crash Bandicoot. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, feel free to check it out. But regardless, just thank you for checking out this video for this long. And take care, and hopefully I will see you next time.
Soul belongs to us. Brutality. Ermac wins.